Louis Riddick is here. Good to see you, Louis. How are you, sir?
What's up, Rich? How are you?
I'm better for seeing you. What's going on in your world?
There you go. Not too much, man. It's kind of like trying to ease on into the summer.
That's right.
And then
Then I call.
keep tabs on what's going on in the league and then get back to work in a couple weeks, couple months.
That's right. That's right. So I'll ask you what we've been wondering here. Oh, anything from minicamp this week? Anything, any of the storylines, any of the holdouts, any of the quarterback competitions that you think we do have a roadmap of what's going to happen in week one and who's going to be around in week one? Louis Riddick, anything this week?
Man, I'll tell you, look, the Cincy situation with Jamar Stewart is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable how that football team just continues to not be able to shake the reputation that it has for being one that just does not take care of its players en masse. Now, I know they took care of Joe, they took care of Jamar, took care of T, but this whole situation with Trey and then not being able to get Jamar, so I mean, it's just with Hendrickson, it's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling because this football team really does know how to identify talent, as far as how to build football teams. It's just how to kind of keep a team together. That's an interesting one for me. I think obviously when you start thinking about Aaron in Pittsburgh and what is the effect going to be? Look, I thought I had said a couple months ago, Rich, that I thought that they needed each other, that these two were a good match in terms of Pittsburgh needing a guy who could level them up at quarterback. And I think Aaron does that. And I really do believe, contrary to maybe what evidence has shown you, that he is someone who can just buy in and fit in and not have to try and manipulate and change and have everything his way. And because he's not going to have that in Pittsburgh. And I think that's exactly what he needs to just focus playing the game and playing it at a high level and making everyone else around him better. So I think those are two really, really good stories for me. You got to keep your eye on what's going on in Washington with Terry McLaurin. I know it's early. I know we're still in June. When you're talking about trying to keep a young quarterback from having any kind of setback, Terry McLaurin is critical for Jaden Daniels. Any time missed is a lot of time missed for me when it comes to that kind of situation, because Terry is fantastic. And he's not just fantastic as a player. He's fantastic as a teammate by all accounts, in every account. And Jaden needs him on the field in order for them to take another step up and continue to battle with Philadelphia for supremacy in the East, who is going to be right there again. I mean, Philly's just going to be right. They just are. They're going to be there again. Dallas is going to be better. Don't sleep on the Giants. That pass rush, the Giants may have a top 5 defense, a top 3 defense in the NFL this year. They may have the best pass rush in the NFL this year.
Really?
So they can just get their act together offensively. But the East will be fun to watch. The East will be real fun to watch.
Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show. What is your expectation level of Rodgers? And just to follow up, did you just basically say the fact that we're not sitting here talking about whether Rodgers has a list of players that he wants the Steelers to sign and that he's going to have his own hand-picked coordinator, the fact that sort of, lack of a better phrase, catering is not going to be available at the Pittsburgh Craft Service is going to serve Rodgers well? Did I pick up on that, Louis?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's amazing what you can do when your mind's not cluttered, right? When you're not trying to wear too many hats and you can just kind of keep the main thing. And for him, that main thing is pretty damn good, which is playing quarterback. He's pretty good at that. And you could see the respect. You could feel the respect kind of like emanating, through the television screen in this sense when he was talking at his press conference, or rather his media availability, about the respect that he had for Mike. I think every player that goes into Pittsburgh, every free agent, every draft pick, every coach that goes there and comes out of there, they always have like kind of the same opinion about the fact that this is a true blue blood franchise that makes you, or should make you, want to act and kind of level up your own professionalism and how you do things, and really just want to play ball. I mean, I understand it's a business. TJ Watt in that situation is showing you that it's still a business now. But it's just when you're there and you put on that helmet and you wear those colors and you walk through that facility, you just want to play ball, man. That's really what it's all about there. And I don't think there's any team that you can say that any more about than Pittsburgh. And I think that's exactly what Aaron needs. And I think you'll get the best that he's got to give at this point, at 40 plus years old, is exactly what you'll get. I don't think he's going to cheat you in any way as far as what he's going to give you. I think he will wring the rag dry, so to speak, to use a metaphor, as far as what he's got left. And I think that's going to be pretty good. And I think it'll make Pittsburgh pretty interesting.
Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show from ESPN. Let's talk some rookies here, Louis. Mm-hmm. Did you hear what Cam Ward had to say about what he's going to do between now and training camp? Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah. That was a great quote.
Hold on a minute. We got it. For those who might not have heard it, roll it.
It's been good. From growing, learning, especially being with the vets, getting our timing down. So I'm excited for the summer.
What's your plan for the next 5 to 6 weeks before you report to camp, and will you gather with your receivers and some of the other quarterbacks and go over things just to kind of refresh everybody?
Just work out, stay in the playbook, and throw the out the balls.
That's so good.
Right? What do you think when you hear that?
That's him. That's him, man. He's all ball. Again, we talked about Pittsburgh. As far as an organization that's just about ball, Cam's just about playing the game. Said on TV just the other day that he is the least hyped, talked about number one overall pick that I can remember. And I can't understand. I understand why, because of the other big personalities in the draft this year, at quarterback, namely Shedeur and all the oxygen that he took out of the room as far as the discussion is concerned. But Cam is legit, man. That's how he is. That's how he was. That's what the coaching staff told you when you went up to Pullman at Washington State. That's what Mario Cristobal told you and Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, told you when you went down to Coral Gables in Miami. That this is who he is. And then when you watched him on the field and playing games, when you went to his pro day, he's about ball. And he is a master talker when it comes to being able to jaw back and forth with the opponent, back and forth with teammates, hold teammates accountable, hold himself accountable. He is an alpha in every sense. He is a tier one leader in every sense. He took that program by the throat last year, Rich. He really did. Mario talked about it. Mario played on great teams at Miami, played with some of the best college football players and subsequently some of the best NFL football players in the history of the game. And he said, this guy's right up there with the best leaders of them all. It's exactly what Tennessee needed. Jeffrey Simmons, his own, the all-pro Pro Bowl defensive tackle, was talking about the fact that he was impressed about the fact that this young rookie quarterback could trade one-liners and smack talk with the best of them while still taking instruction from his head coach and executing the offense and directing the offense at a high level for a rookie. He said, hell, if for nothing else, I was impressed just by that. And he can throw it. You've seen how he can throw it. I just think that as we get closer and closer to camp and the games start, I think Tennessee, for the first time in a while, has a guy who is going to demand that we start covering and send in lots of reporters down there, say, what do we have with this kid?
All right.
What do we have? I know small market team, blah, 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 in the South and the AFC, but what do we have here? We haven't been giving this kid enough run. It's going to be time to give him some.
Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show. Maybe part of the reason also you would talk about oxygen that you and I and our respective draft coverages spent time on, obviously, as Cam Ward's walking to the stage, the first major trade of the entire draft season occurs, right? And it's the Browns willingly coughing up the rights to draft Travis Hunter to Jacksonville for considerations, including a first next year. So obviously we were going to be talking about that amidst what we would normally be focusing on the first overall pick in the draft and Cam Ward.
Yeah.
This soundbite from Travis Hunter leapt out at me, Lewis, and I'd love to get your 2 cents on it on the other side of all of us in the media, including those that were down there in Duval County, hunting and pecking for how much he's going to play on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
How's it been just for you to be able to actually get on the field, play defense, play offense, being able to do that during this time?
It's been great. I've been doing it my whole life, so nothing changed.
But just learning in an NFL way, just the differences maybe, or how it's been for you, just adapting.
Not really no difference. Just got to stay in the playbook and apply it to the field.
While you're trying to adapt to being an NFL player, how has that been, just letting your personality shine through?
It's been very easy for me. You know, the guys come in and I bring the juice every day. I always got a smile on my face, making everyone laugh when I get the chance. So we just been fun, having fun, and just being kids out here just loving and living our dream.
Yeah, I just love how it's just another day on the field for him, Lewis. You know what I mean? And he's not fazed by it. And my only alarm would be if he was the type of kid that wasn't going to be serious about it and he doesn't know what he doesn't know. I think he knows what he knows. That's the way I'm looking at it with him. But the learning what he does in an NFL way, is there a difference? I mean, obviously we know there's a difference between Big 12 football and NFL football, but the endeavor of playing on both sides of the ball, is it different, Lewis?
Yeah, it will be. Look, I mean,
how so then? What do you think?
I'll say this. Obviously, he's playing against 11 5-stars on the other side of the ball every game,
right?
So to speak. You know, he don't have like 1 or 2, and then a couple 3-stars and a couple guys who will be, you know. And it's not like it's bad to work at Goldman Sachs, but guys are going to be working at Goldman Sachs on Wall Street next year and not playing football. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you on that. Like I know he's going to be. I know he's playing against better competition, but the endeavor, the actual endeavor of in pro football here of the construct of what I'd love for him to attempt. You know? Yeah,
I think the physical strain and mental strain of. Okay, so the physical strain, right? Every hit that he takes, every route that he runs, every wide receiver that he covers, every tackle that he makes is physically going to take a toll on his body that's going to be measurably more significant than when it was in Colorado. Mm-hmm. It just is. So can he keep up the same pace at the NFL level that he could at the college level? No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure he could try it for a little while, but see, this isn't a guy that you want to like use up in 3-4 years in one contract. I mean, Travis is a multiple contract guy, 2-3 contracts that you want to get 15 years out of maybe. So you don't want to run him into the ground to where you basically just drive the wheels off of him simply because he wanted to play both sides of the ball. You wanted him to play both sides of the ball, and you didn't have any discipline with doing it. I think that's the difference. Because of the physical and mental strain that it's going to take. Look, learning the playbook in Jacksonville under Liam Cohen, I'm sure Pat Shurmur is a good friend of mine who's offensive coordinator out there at Colorado. Pat is an ex-pro style coach. So I'm sure he has kind of like been already introduced to some NFL style terminology and a learning process. Mm-hmm. But now that it's your job, even though some people say, well, in college it's your job too, with today's the way it's constructed now. But now that it's your job, and now that you're playing the number of games that you're playing, and the fact that it is a true year-round endeavor, and you're going up the very best of the best, like you just don't know if he can keep up that kind of pace. He may feel like, hey, it's good, I'm doing it now. I mean, but they're in minicamp, they're in OTAs. Not a single dude has touched him yet. Not a single one. You know, there's the whole mental part of it right now is it's all just fun. It's all honeymoon right now. It's all good. Nobody's on your ass right now about wins and losses, drop passes, or touchdowns given up, or there's no stress, none. And I hope, look, I'd have no question that he will keep that same attitude, though. Travis is unique. Travis is a unicorn. Travis has been trained by a guy who you know well, who's one of the best to ever do it as far as play the game and then manage the celebrity of it all. He's been trained by the very, very best to ever do it. So do I think he's uniquely equipped? Yeah. But I just think they just need to be careful, man. Let's not go already 1,000 miles an hour. Keep Travis so we can play the long game too, so he can be around for a while and not just use him up because we were so enamored with how ridiculously gifted he is, which he is.
Well,
ridiculous.
He is, and I know this is an unfair analogy, but it's the only one that I think I can make. At some point we know Ohtani's going to stop pitching, right? We know that, although he's about to come back and pitch again. But we just don't think when he's in, contract 3. Well, I mean, contract 3 is his retirement. So that's a bad analogy. But, we just don't think that when he's in his mid to late 30s, he's going to be throwing, right? But I'm just like, part of me is like, this kid is a kid once. Like, let's see it. And maybe he is a unicorn, though, Lewis. Maybe he can actually handle this. Maybe this is
Rich,
it.
I'm not in any way saying that you shouldn't let him do both.
Right.
He should do both. He should definitely do both. You are hurting yourself, and you're right. You're putting an unnecessary governor on him that really isn't necessary. That really is going to not allow you to get everything out of him that you could. I'm just saying, just be smart about it. He can't play 125 snaps a game.
Right.
Let's not do that.
Damn it! I want to see it. I was
just sitting here thinking about thinking about high school. Right. I was thinking about high school football the other day. We used to go to Friday night football, man. And I thought, the only time I came out the field was field goal kick. Was extra point. That was it.
Let's go.
That was it.
Let's go.
I don't know if Travis can do that, man. He probably, if anybody could, he probably could.
Yeah, the only Friday game is the day after Christmas, day after Thanksgiving, right? All right. So then, what do you think is happening in Browns camp? What do you think is going to happen there? Before I let you go, Lewis.
I think it really does. It really does all depend on how Kevin is able to, as it relates to Shedeur, work him in enough. Well, one, Shedeur has to earn the right for Kevin and the staff to have discussions about, hey, we got to get him more reps with the ones and twos. We got to get him more reps with the ones and twos when we're going team period, not just walk through or not just 7-on-7 team situations where we move the football in the preseason game. We got to get him more reps. I think he has to earn that. Kevin has to figure out a way to do that. So then you can reasonably assess what you have in him compared to Dylan Gabriel, compared to Kenny, compared to Joe Flacco. If you don't, then, the conversation surrounding him is going to continue to be what it's been, which is, but for some people, he was overhyped all along. He's not that great of an athlete, doesn't have a big enough arm. There's a reason why he was a 5th-round pick, blah, 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 which I don't believe. I believe if he is given enough reps, earns enough reps, and then is given enough reps in meaningful situations, he can throw the ball just as good as Joe, if not better, just as good as Kenny, if not better, just as good as Dylan Gabriel, not better. And that if it's truly what we all like to say the NFL is, which is a meritocracy, which in theory it is, in actuality, there isn't enough time for it to be a true meritocracy, especially when you're talking about trying to get 4 quarterbacks ready or give 4 quarterbacks enough reps to figure out who the best one is. We know that it isn't always that way. And a lot of times it's just simply because there's just not enough opportunities. So can Kevin figure that out? Can he figure out how to get the information, to get enough reps, to get enough of him on tape to where he could really say, damn, man, maybe by, week 4, 5, 7, I think 7's kind of like the sweet spot in the season, week 7. Should we be considering putting him in there? I'm hoping he gets enough run and earns enough run to be able to have them have that conversation. Because I think if he does get enough reps, Rich, I think he will make them have that conversation.
Lewis Riddick, as always, love talking ball with you.
You got it, man.
Let's do it again soon. Thank you. That's Lewis Riddick of ESPN. Everybody follow him. We do. Always makes us smarter. Always love chopping it up with Lewis Riddick right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.